Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is Monday, which is not normally when I go live, but those of you that maybe were paying attention noticed that I did have to reschedule the stream because, man, I was under the weather big time on Friday. So, and in fact, you can still kind of hear it, but I'm feeling a lot better. Everything's good. I'm excited to be here with y'all today. So, got to give some shout outs. Hello to everybody who is here with me live. I did post a question that I want to put back up on the screen really quick before we get started. I am just curious. I always like to ask this question. There's something about January and the beginning of the year and the timing and everything where it's like, have you created your plan? Have you set up a plan? If not, I've got some tips for you that might help you, get you some inspiration today, give you a little bit of some help on creating that plan if you're a little bit behind on that. Or maybe you just don't usually make plans, or you have just, you like to wing it. I don't know. Either way, I want to know in the comments. So I did see the Creator Classroom watching over on YouTube. She says, I created my calendar month by month. I like that. I like a good month by month plan. So I kind of like a little bit of a holistic annual thought, but then down and dirty, like get down into it, really true details, maybe month by month, a couple months at a time. Totally fine with that. That's actually a completely, perfectly fine strategy. I love it. But she says, my February calendar had to be scrapped, but I'm only a few film sessions away from being finished with my backup plan. Okay, very good. She had to do a little pivot. So sometimes that's actually one of the benefits of not planning too far in advance is merely just that ability to pivot, right? So anyways, love the new profile picture. Also, by the way, that's super fun. By the way, if you guys didn't know, I do have opinions about profile pictures. I love when I can see a person's face, even if they have a brand. But the Creator Classroom, she, teaches Canva and all kinds of things. And it's all her. The Creator Classroom is the brand, but it is her. She's this helpful educator. So I love the fact that it's a photo of you because that creates a little bit more of a personal connection. So nice job. I support that 100%. Robin's here as well. She says, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the fact that it's actually 2024. And I will tell you, I'm kind of with you, sister. I'm kind of with you on that. Hello, Marianne. She's watching from Sydney, Australia. So very good. It's probably It's early morning there, right? It should be early morning. So good morning to you. Parker Jennings is in the house as well. Good to see you here. And thanks for the kudos on that little intro. It's something I made, I don't know, a while back in Canva. I was just kind of playing around with it. So, all right. So I want to get started today. So really what I want to do is, this is definitely a 100% live Q&A. Okay, so this is a live Q&A today. So this is an opportunity for you guys to ask whatever questions you want, whether it be tech questions or whether it be, live streaming questions, StreamYard questions, and whatnot. But I definitely want to make sure that y'all know this is definitely a live Q&A. So let's help you with whatever you're looking for help with. It could be gear, tech questions, all the things. I'm always tinkering a little bit, trying a different camera angle today. I got a little glow on my face. So I went, get away. There. Is that better? Oh, it's so much better. So I have a light back here. It's down below me, and I had it too far up, so it was kind of glowing some pinkness on my face. So anyway, had to kind of move that out of the way there for a sec. So, okay. So again, live Q&A, post a Q in front of your comment. If you have a question for me, happy to answer it for you. So definitely do that. But I am going to share a few content strategy tips. So again, it's January, it's planning mode. Some of you are still in planning mode. Maybe some of you have not started planning yet. And so I am going to share with you kind of a down and dirty. I always call it down and dirty when it's kind of high level. So like we can go way down in the weeds if we want, but honestly, down and dirty to me is just quick hit ideas, quick hit tips. And I've got 3 of them for you today when it comes to your content strategy, things I want you to be thinking about. So definitely one of those things that I want to talk to you guys about today. But before I do that, I definitely want to make sure that I give a proper shout out to, that's not going to work. Hold on. I got to get ready. I got to get my thing ready here real fast. Hold on. I'm not sure if that's it. Okay. Yeah. No, that's not going to work. Okay. Sorry. I had a fancy thing that I wanted to do and I forgot to switch it before I went live today. But anyways, today's stream I am streaming with StreamYard. StreamYard is absolutely my choice when it comes to the best live streaming tool. It is absolutely fantastic. It is the easiest. in my opinion. I've dabbled with lots of them and I still dabble. I definitely still check out other platforms just to kind of see how they are because I like to be relevant and know what's going on. But I will tell you, StreamYard, in my opinion, is still the best. It's still the most stable. It is super easy to use, and you can create amazing live streams like you're watching today, which is a bold statement when I say amazing. But you can do the things like the banners and the tickers at the bottom. You can share your screen. So if you want to do PowerPoint presentations or webinar style videos, and you can actually use the studio to record only, so just record videos, and you can have these fancy things happening in these pre-recorded videos of yours. Or of course, you can live stream with it. You can also record podcast interviews or podcasts with StreamYard. So it's a very robust platform. Again, very easy to use. Super, super awesome. The video that you saw in the beginning, I was essentially using StreamYard to play that video. So again, super simple, super easy. Go check out their YouTube channel for tutorials and tips on how to use it. But if you want to get signed up with a free 14-day trial to try the pro features, then you can sign up with my link. You just go to meldiane.com and you'll see some links on that page that will take you to my partner link that lets you get signed up for that 14-day free trial. So, all right. So we are going to get started today. Again, I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to kick things off with a few tips for you guys so that you guys can help out. Okay. So, all right. I love it. I love it. Grilling Dude is here. Super excited to see you back. I love seeing you here in the comments, and he's got a question for me. So I'm going to actually put that in my queue so that after I go through these quick tips, I'm going to go into Q&A mode. So for sure. So love it. You got a question for me, Grilling Dude. Also super great to see you here again. So, okay. So, Robin says, I spy the lava lamp. I've missed a few of your live streams, so I may have missed this return. So one of the lava lamps is back here. I will say another lava lamp. I am still playing around with the look. Another one's back here. You know, we got a couple different camera angles that we can play around with here. I am definitely still trying to figure out what the hell I want to do with this view in this studio. So we are trying a different angle today, which is the Career Classroom definitely noticed as well. So I love it when you guys are back and you guys are here hanging out with all these things I'm trying to figure out. So anyway, yeah. Marianne says, StreamYard just announced portrait mode. So one of the things that recently came out is that Instagram. So this is the thing for you those of you on Instagram or maybe who have not really embraced Instagram fully. Instagram just opened up their API, which is a kind of a gateway into their code, really is the best way to think about it. So they actually just opened up their API, and now basically third-party platforms that do live streaming can now connect into Instagram. Now, they were beta testing this for a while. It is now pretty much open. So if you're a StreamYard user or thinking about StreamYard, you can also now use StreamYard to live stream from desktop to Instagram. So before, you could pretty much only go live on your phone if you wanted to go to live on Instagram. And honestly, the quality was always really weird and sketchy. But they have completely opened up their API. And so now StreamYard, you can actually stream into Instagram. And so I've definitely noticed a huge uptick in Instagram lives since Instagram opened this API, because I think there are a lot of people who are using third-party platforms to create these live videos now. So anyways, that's something new. But yes, one of the limitations, if you will, was that StreamYard is landscape. So you're watching this video, we are in 16:9 ratio, right? And so portrait mode would be, if it were the other way around, it would be, I'd be in like a vertical format, which is what Instagram absolutely is, including Instagram Reels, TikTok videos, and YouTube Shorts. So StreamYard is definitely working on the portrait aspect, and that so like they're you can now create videos in portrait mode. So lots of good stuff for sure. So typical Tyreek is hanging out from the Bahamas. It's good to see you, my friend, back here live with us. I am very jealous about where you're located at this moment, because we have snow on the ground and we have freezing rain coming tonight. Winter has finally arrived in Indiana. I can tell you that for sure. So, okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to jump in, and I am going to, like I said, provide some of my tips. So strategy tips. So some of you, like I said, that are maybe still in planning mode, I want to share some thoughts that I have with you, some things that I want you to think about. Now, this is down and dirty. There's so much more you could be considering and doing when it comes to your strategy, but I still feel like there's a lot of creators and, just online personalities and brands and businesses that are not fully embracing some of these strategies. So clearly you still need to hear me say them is what I'm getting at, right? Because many of you that are, regulars, if I will, on the channel or on the show, or even over on my StreamYard, when I stream for StreamYard, you hear me talk about these strategies quite a bit, but I'm going to break them down for you really quickly because it's always good to hear them. It's good to hear them more than once. And as you're in this mode, it's January 8th right now, today, as I'm going live, and you might still be thinking about what you need to do this year for your content. So I hope you have big goals. I hope you've already thought through those things. And I hope now you're asking yourself, how do I get there? So let's talk about some of these content strategies that I believe will help you absolutely get there. So we are live streaming over on LinkedIn today. We are live streaming on Facebook, my Facebook business page, and we are also live streaming on YouTube. So if you are hanging out on either of these platforms, thank you for being here. Super excited to see you. I will tell you that most of the engagement, most of the community definitely hangs out over on YouTube. So if you're watching from one of those other platforms and you kind of want to see the Creator Classroom and Marianne and Typical Tyreek and the Grilling Dude and others in the comments, then you can head over to the YouTube channel. So it's at Melanie Diane over there. So, all right, let's get started. So we're going to chime in. Going to start with the first tip that I have. And this tip is you absolutely need to embrace video. It's now or never. If you've not embraced it, you've probably heard that you need to be embracing video, but maybe you've been avoiding it for whatever reason. 100%. If you've not embraced it, I need you to officially embrace it. So many of my friends over on YouTube, I got a double logo going on there. There we go. Many of my friends over on YouTube are probably, of course, already embracing video, right? But let's talk about what kinds of videos. There are 3 categories of videos that I like to break these into. And one is pre-recorded videos. This is your base content. So a pre-recorded video is a shorter, kind of down, to the point video. Maybe you're teaching how to do something, or you're explaining a perfectly, concise concept. This is going to be a shorter video, maybe 5 minutes to 15 minutes. Honestly, they could be longer, but I do find that the sooner you can get to the point, the faster you can get somebody results, the more likely that you're going to get better results, better views, more reach on that video. So this is your base content. Also, short form videos. I am finally starting to also kind of build a short form strategy into my own strategy for 2024. It's something that I have helped other people do, but honestly, I've just sort of not fully done it myself. I absolutely think short form videos need to be part of your strategy in 2024. It absolutely is going to help you get more reach organically, whether this be Reels, even TikTok videos, or YouTube Shorts. I 100% think that this is one of the best ways for you to get more organic reach. And then, of course, you all know how I feel about live video. Live videos for building relationships. 100%, this needs to be incorporated in your 2024 strategy, whether you've dabbled in live video or you've only, you've just done them every once in a while, or you've never done it. I would love to see you embrace live video because it is truly how you build those relationships online. So the pre-recorded videos, again, are going to take care of your audience. They're going to, it's your main stuff. It's your base content. It's literally the foundation. Think of it that way. So your content, a long time ago, content was blog articles and stuff like that. Videos, it's all about videos. Blogging is still there. Blog articles still have a place, but truly, videos is really where most people are consuming these types of things. Now, another example of this could be a podcast. So, podcast, if you have a podcast, that might be your base content, which is completely fine. But I want you to consider the video strategy to even drive more traffic to that podcast, right? So a podcast is something that you could do that you actually can make money on through sponsorships and other monetization opportunities. So podcasting is absolutely still a very good, relevant strategy. So if that is your main place where you spend most of your energy, I still want you to embrace the video strategy to drive even more traffic over to that podcast. So and I think that one of the things I love about StreamYard and the direction they're going right now is that, for example, those short form videos, you can actually create short form videos even just using the StreamYard studio. So I love it. Fantastic, easy method. I also think there are other tools out there that are going to help you make these short form videos more, I guess, fitting to that format. And one of those would be a app called Opus Clip. Opus Clip, is that right? Gosh, See, I still have like the whole sinus infection, brain fog. Plus, we were at volleyball all weekend, and I like literally still hear whistles in my ears from being in the convention center in Cleveland and hearing whistles all weekend long. So it is. I'm just want to check this because I literally, yeah, okay. It is. Where is it on my phone? I know it's Opus Clip. Will somebody just tell me I'm not crazy right now? Yes, Opus Clip. I don't know why I was thinking, is it Opus Clip or Opal Clip? I was getting a little bit of brain fog there. So Opus Clip is actually, so when you see these short videos on, like YouTube Shorts or even Instagram, and you see the little captions that are on top of the video, I have an example on my Instagram as well as on my YouTube channel. And it's almost like the default color is green, which is how I always know when somebody's using it. That is an automated service that uses, the recognition to then in the AI to create the captions. Captions are really pretty critical when it comes to these short form videos because a lot of people are just watching and reading. They're reading it. And so, that's kind of key, right? Okay, good. Everybody's helping me out in the comments. I got all kinds of people. The Career Classroom, she's like, and there is Opus Pro. Yes, they just came out with Opus Pro. Dr. Vibe, the Dr. Vibe show is here. It's good to see you, my friend. DizPod is here as well. So thanks for backing me up, my friends. I love it. Okay. All right. So first tip, as I said, breaking it down, you have to embrace video. If you've not embraced video, I would love to know why. I would like to know why. In the comments, are you scared of the video? Is it the tech that holds you back? What is it that holds you back from creating video content? And as I said, I'm streaming over on LinkedIn today too, and I know that LinkedIn, there's a lot of people that are all in on LinkedIn, and that's their main place, just because of the maybe the industry that they're in or whatever. Video is absolutely a strategy on LinkedIn, 100%, and you can go live on LinkedIn just like I am right now. So again, there's a place for these videos just about everywhere at this point. So, in videos, it's been coming for a long time. It is just more important than ever that we embrace video, whether it be video to get you getting started with video or doing more video, quite frankly. So, okay. All right, here we go. So, I want to go into the next strategy. And then I've got 3 down and dirty content strategy tips that I want to go through today. So if you're just joining us, that's what we're starting off with. And then we're going to go into live Q&A. So if you've got a question, go ahead and post it now. Put a Q in front of it, and I will star it so that it goes into my little queue, and I'm going to come back. So I know I've already got one question from the grilling dude. So if anybody else has questions for me, feel free to go ahead and post those right now. Okay. Down and dirty, tip number 2 is embrace collaborations. Collaborations are absolutely, in my opinion, one of the best ways for you to grow organically, but also to evolve as a creator or a business or anything, because these collaborations they're going to help you reach more people, but they also are going to actually help you just bring a completely different aspect to your content. So a whole different level of spark, a completely different, it gives you a break from being in charge of everything. And then at the same time, there is definitely this amazing little domino effect that happens when you start doing collaborations. So collaborations look like partnerships and alliances. So a partnership could be, maybe you and somebody else decide, hey, let's create some content together and do an online course together, or a promotion together, or a workshop together, right? I've done lots of collaboration workshops, in-person workshops that I've taught with other people. I've done it where I've partnered with, locations, and they've basically been the sponsor of the workshop, if you will, and they get a little bit of recognition for sponsoring the workshop for like local small businesses or whatever. And alliances is another aspect of this that's very similar, but alliance could be something like maybe you have, a specialty and somebody else has another specialty that's a little different than yours. And you guys kind of create this alliance so that whenever somebody has a question about their specialty, you always recommend them and they do the same thing, vice versa. So alliances are great. It's a great way to also just help each other out, drive some traffic towards each other's content, each other's websites, businesses, whatnot. So partnerships and alliances is like that first version. But the part that I really love and what I really want you to get to that can kind of come from these partnerships and alliances is you having guests in your content. And so if you're, creating videos or live streams or podcasts, I want you to invite other people onto your show and have them talk about what they're an expert in. This is fantastic if you, again, have somebody who does something that you're not necessarily an expert in and they are. You 100% should be bringing somebody else into your show and letting them shine. So, you guys have seen, I've brought, the perfect example of this is my really dear friend, Crystal Profit. She's fantastic. She, has written a book about podcasting, how to launch podcasts. She is a podcasting expert. Now, I know how to podcast. I have a podcast, and she, though, this is like where I like totally go all in on live video. She goes all in on podcasting. She's also a content strategist. She's a marketer. So she and I know she does live videos. We know a lot of the same things, but her main jam is podcasting. My main jam is live video. And so whenever somebody's got a live video question, she'll sometimes if I'm in her comments, I'll answer the question and she knows it. I'm supporting her. So this is a perfect little example of an alliance. But at the same time, I've been a guest on her show and she's been a guest on my show. And so it just adds another layer of the way that we can help people. So, you may have something that you're just a specialist in, but there's other things that you're aware of, but you're not like a specialist in. Bring somebody else in, let them shine a little bit with you. You're curating that conversation because you know your audience. Your audience is like, wow, I love this channel. I learn about this, and then I get to do this, and then I also learn about this thing over here. So think about some examples of, I guess I'd call it like tertiary content or supporting content where, this is your main bullseye, but then there's still some stuff right out here that is relevant and matters. Think about some examples of that and then go find people and invite them into your show. But then back to my slide here, on the contrary, on the flip side, you should also be trying to be a guest in other people's content. So, I tell this story all the time, but one of the ways that I was able to grow a couple of years ago, in a pretty quick, way was because of this. I was a guest in some other people's content, and then all of a sudden other people saw that and then they wanted me to be on their show. And the next thing you know, I had a couple people on my show, and it exponentially increased my reach. It gave people this, maybe a different level of assurance that it legitimized maybe who I was and what I was talking about. So a lot of you have actually come into my world through some of those shows. And that's actually the best benefit when it comes to collaborations is the reach you're going to get. So when you're a guest in somebody else's content, you're in front of their whole audience. And it doesn't have to be a big audience. That's something I really want to say is it doesn't have to be like, you're only going to be a guest on somebody's show if they have this huge audience. Don't be that greedy, because I will tell you, you never know who's in their audience. That could be, even if they only have 100 followers on their YouTube channel, they could be the best audience for you. And those could be 5 to 10 ideal customers that happen to watch your show that then come over to yours and all of a sudden become a customer, right? So don't ever be greedy, but definitely look for again, the relevancy, right? Make sure that it's a relevant audience and that they're going to be relevant to you and you're going to be relevant to them in a way. So, have that kind of conversation with your collaborator. Now, again, having people in your show is the same thing. So if you have somebody on your show, that guest is probably going to share the show with their audience. Like, hey, I'm going to be live over on, Mel's show today, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, who's Mel? And they're going to tune in. And then now they just were exposed to you. So again, organic reach. This is one of the best ways to get organic reach for sure. Okay, Dr. Vibe Show's got a question for me. Put you in the queue, my friend. So you are definitely there. Creator Classroom says, love alliances. The Grilling Dude said, I deal with a few alliances. Awesome idea. So good. I'm glad that this is resonating with you guys. Because I'll tell you, I'm telling you, it's 100%. The collaborations is a big deal. Like it really, really, really can really make a massive impact on what you're doing. So, okay. So I am going to, so the Grilling Dude says, my producer also shares the show so they get views and time credits as well. Yes. So there's a lot of, borrowing their audience. In a way, Dr. Vibe Show, borrowing their audience, you are, but at the same time, it's not even really like borrowing. It's really a matter of, it is kind of like networking. That's really truly what it is. I mean, I was trying to think of a really fancy word, but no, it's just networking. It's truly one way to network in this online space that we're talking about, right? And so it's one of those things that again, you're going to create more connections. Marianne says, I'd love to do more collaborations. I did 2 towards second half of 2023, so need to plan it in my content calendar. That is correct, sister. So collaborations do, one thing I will say is that collaborations do require a little more time sometimes because of the interaction, the vetting out, looking for people to, trying to reach out to people. It is networking, a little bit of personal sales, trying to get yourself on somebody's show, pitching yourself, if you will. But if you create these online alliances and these partnerships, it honestly kind of just flows from there. So look for some business friends, look for some people, be networking in comments on shows like this and other shows, finding people, join online communities so that you can actually start to look around and see and connect with people in those comments. And being engaged online is one of the best ways for you to meet people online. I know that sounds really silly, but being social is the best way to build these social relationships and connections. So definitely want you to do that for sure. Again, there you go. So we got people talking even in the comments today about possibly doing some collaborations. It's definitely what you want to do. So, okay, so let's keep going, and then I'm going to jump into live Q&A today. So the next tip I wanted to share, if you're just joining us, I am actually sharing 3 down and dirty content strategy tips or strategy tips for your 2024. We are skimming the surface, which is why I'm calling it down and dirty. But if you follow these 3 things, you are absolutely going to see success. I know it. So I already talked about tip number 1, which was embracing video. I just talked about collaborations. And now the third tip that I have is repurpose. So we only have so much time on our hands, right? We only have so much energy. We can only do so much. You can grind it out and just go all in and just be everywhere. You might wear yourself out though. And you may become what I call, may get content fatigue. Content fatigue is a real thing. And that is basically when you're out there and you are just creating, and you start to actually run out of ideas. You start to run out of energy and you feel like you're doing all this content and not necessarily seeing the results worth the amount of energy that you're putting in. So content fatigue is a real thing. And one of the ways to avoid that is to repurpose. So we want to work smarter, not harder. As much as I hate that phrase, honestly, I don't know why I hate it. Maybe because it's easier said than done. But I want you to, these are the 3 things that I want you to think about when it comes to repurposing. Repurposing means creating something and then getting more out of it. So, more bang for your buck, if you will. And so one of the ways that you can do that is when you create a video, you can go create clips from that video. So for example, each one of these tips I'm giving you, I could absolutely take, like tip number 1, I could take that segment where I talked about that. I could, basically pull that clip out and then go in and edit it, trim out some of the fluff or fat because I did do some engagement with you guys. Whatever. And I can make that a pretty punchy short video. Whether it literally fits into a reel or a short is one thing, but it can be its own video. So today's a live stream, but I can take that segment and then I can edit it and make it a video. Absolutely can do that. In fact, I could do an intro and say, hey, I've got a really cool, I want you to think about something for 2024. This is a live stream I did. I wanted to share it here with you really quick. So to get to the point, I want you to embrace video in 2024. And here's what I had to say about it. Boom. And then go into that that repurposed clip that you from your live stream. And then you can record a little outro. You're not re-recording the whole thing. You're just taking something you already did and then you're just repurposing it. And so with the tools out there today, this is easier than it's ever been before to repurpose your content. And so that's what, when I say, taking clips, create clips, you can do it from live videos, you can do it from other videos. You can take a pre-recorded video, maybe that you did, you can take 60 seconds of your geniusness from it and make it a teaser and upload it to your shorts or your Instagram reels and then provide a link to the core content video, right? Your base, your foundational content. This is a genius thing. And if you pay attention, you're going to see that lots of people are doing this. And it's because it works. So again, we want to be efficient with our time, efficient with our energy, and efficient with our content. And so take this concept of these videos, and then I want you to repurpose segments of those videos into shorter form content. So 100% one of the best ways you can repurpose your content. Now, at the same time, I want you to also consider, if you've never done a podcast or if you already have a podcast, some of your video content can absolutely be converted into a podcast. So a lot of the things that you say in your videos, especially when you have those moments of passion or you get really into a certain, a specific point, you can export the video, download the audio only, especially if you're using StreamYard like I am today. You can go into your studio. It's automatically going to save that video. You can go into it and you can download the MP3 file. And you can download that file, pull it into whatever software you want to use, edit out the stuff you want to edit out, and now you have a podcast episode. So your videos can absolutely, the content and the things you share in your videos can absolutely be repurposed into podcasts. Now, this is a little harder for people who are extremely visual. So highly visual channels like our friend, the Creator Classroom, this is going to be a little harder for her because she's showing a lot of things. She's definitely just showing a lot, right? However, it doesn't mean that, you can if you approach your videos knowing you're going to repurpose it for a podcast, then you can approach part of your video. Maybe you're explaining, let's say she's talking about how to edit videos in Canva. Well, she could spend 5 to 10 minutes talking about why videos are important and why this and why that and yada, 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 yada. And then she could say, now I'm going to show you how to do it, whatever. Well, that little segment about why videos are important could be repurposed. She could do a little extra audio clip in there and say, she could add a little extra to it if she wanted to. And then she can say, I show how to do this on my YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this podcast, fantastic. Head over to my YouTube channel next. And now you're going to learn how to do what I just said. Boom. So again, you're using platforms to drive traffic to each other. So I really, really love the concept of the multi-purposing of videos and podcasts together. Having those two things, I always say, I've said it forever, podcasting and video and live video are like peanut butter and jelly. They go together just too well not to be included. So 100%. Joanne says, gives viewers the taste of the original video. Yeah, it's almost like you're giving them a sample, 100%. Same thing with the repurposing a video into shorts. I like that. It's like a little teaser, right? Grilling Dude says, I'm thinking of doing a podcast. Well, that's fantastic. I love it. I actually think that a lot of people think podcasting, it's been around for so long that people think that it's too late to get started into podcasting. I couldn't disagree more because a lot of people who had podcasts there's people who aren't doing podcasting anymore. There's plenty of room for you. I promise there's plenty of room for you. Podcast is still an absolutely fantastic, it's an absolutely fantastic strategy. So with that being said, the other thing I want to say is that, if you're another part of repurposing your time is to multi-stream or multi-record. So what do I mean by that? Well, today I am multi-streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Okay, so that's where we're streaming today. Instead of me streaming to YouTube and then turning it off and then going and creating another video for LinkedIn and then going and creating another video for Facebook. So with StreamYard, if you're on a paid plan, you are able to multi-stream. It is so simple. I can see all the comments coming in from all the different channels. So anybody watching from Facebook and they're commenting, I can see their comments. Same thing with LinkedIn and of course YouTube, where most of my viewers are usually hanging out and watching with me. So, I think that multi-streaming is one of those things that you want to, I always say this, multi-stream with caution. And I only say this because there's a few things to consider when it comes to multi-streaming. And that is, the relevancy of your audience. I will tell you, I don't normally multi-stream to LinkedIn simply because my audience and the way I am, the way I show up on LinkedIn is a little different than the way I show up over on YouTube. But I am kind of dabbling with just bringing it all together again in 2024 because there's plenty of people in my LinkedIn network that want to learn about video and want to learn about live streaming, right? I'm not a super active LinkedIn member. So, but maybe I want to become a little bit more active. So embracing and in starting to include the LinkedIn channel in my streaming strategy, is something I can do. But I might change. One thing I might do different, and this is what I'm getting at is be aware of the audience, is I might change the thumbnail, or I might change the title, or I might change the description over on my LinkedIn stream when I schedule it and make it different than what's over on YouTube, for example. Just because, again, the relevancy of the audience may be, I want to make sure they know what to expect, because this whole me streaming about this is a little new to them over there on that channel, right? So also when you're multi-streaming, knowing your audience and knowing who you're connected to in each place and being able to cater to them and cater to your other audiences. And what I'm getting at, an example of this would be some of you that maybe are thinking about starting to stream to Instagram. I will tell you that my Instagram is probably 50-50. It's probably 50% personal connections, just because that's how I started on Instagram. And it's probably 25 to 30% people following me to learn from me in this realm, this version of me, this persona of a live streaming expert, a marketing coach, whatnot. And then probably another small segment that are peers in the industry, right? So other people who do what I do, or are other online influencers who are it's kind of just where we connect with each other. They're not necessarily learning from me, but they're a peer of mine. They're also an online influencer and whatnot. So knowing that, if I start adding Instagram to my stream, I need to know that probably most of the people watching are more personal connections. So just knowing that and just being aware of it is really kind of critical. For, like my mom might comment on there. She's not on Instagram, but she might comment and be like, "What are you doing today, honey?" Just being aware that may come into your live broadcast. So again, multi-stream with caution, and just make sure that it makes sense. And also be ready to engage with all of the viewers on each of those platforms. So I right now, pretty much, other than my significant other who is literally making lunch in the kitchen, and he commented earlier, "Hello from the kitchen." Other than that, everybody else commenting right now is hanging out on YouTube. So, that's just the nature of it right now. Most of my audience is going to be engaging with me from YouTube. And I know that. So for me, it's pretty low risk when it comes to this whole, multi-platform thing. But you may need to be ready for that other type of engagement. So again, anyway, so multi-streaming, but multi-stream with caution. Now, back to what I was talking about. What else do I mean by multi-record? What I mean by multi-record is, for example, those of you that maybe have a podcast or are thinking about a podcast, you can absolutely record a podcast interview, you on video, and also take that, use clips from that, put it on your channels, but then you also have the audio that you just recorded for your podcast. So you have both. You're recording video while you're recording your podcast. It may not be live. It may just be you're recording the video feed. That way you can use some of the video clips to, again, drive more traffic to your podcast episode, create that appetizer, create the teaser towards your actual podcast episode. Now, I really like this strategy when it comes to podcast interviews. So doing a video recording of your podcast interview, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I will tell you on the StreamYard channel, over on their YouTube channel, you can see an example of this. So they've just launched a podcast. So StreamYard now has a podcast, and they are recording all of these interviews that they're doing, and then they're creating a video using the StreamYard tool. So they're downloading the video feed of each person. There's 3 of them. So it's Katie and Mo from StreamYard, and then they interview a guest. And they are using the isolated recordings feature, downloading each individual feed, taking that and then creating a really beautifully edited video version of the highlights from that podcast interview. It's fantastic. They're doing a wonderful job. And I think it's a great example of how you could consider doing the same thing with your podcast interviews. So you could also do what's called a live recording of a podcast interview as well. This is a little trickier, and a lot of people get scared about it, but you can absolutely do it. So you can basically do a live stream interview, and you're going to repurpose that audio into a podcast that you're going to upload to your podcast platform later. You're just bringing your audience into the live interview. So that's what I mean by multi-stream or multi-record. Multi-record is a new term that I'm starting to use. I used to just simply say multi-stream, but multi-recording is now kind of this new term that I'm embracing. So definitely wanted to cover that for you guys for sure. So if Alec, what's up, Alec? How are you? I haven't seen. Okay, Alec is fantastic. Alec's a great guy. Alec was in a coaching program I did years ago, and you're watching from YouTube, not LinkedIn. Anyway, so Alex says, dirty number 3, swap podcasts to blog posts. I think converting to podcast should be a stretch goal as you need another infrastructure and audience to support. So blog posts is also another tip. He's right. So if you have a blog or a website, you can take transcripts from all your content and you can actually create long form blog posts as well, or vice versa. So take a video or a blog post that you've written, and then basically take that exact same content and go record a podcast version of it. So 100% love that for sure. So Creator Classroom said, I made a long form video for YouTube. I cut it into 4 segments specifically for uploading to Facebook. So great example of down and dirty tip number 2, which was repurposing. Love that for sure. Grilling Dude says, I want to try Instagram and will probably run my first live stream connect to IG this Friday. Okay, very, very cool. So I love that. Going social. What's up, my friend? Hey, what's going on? So again, it's funny, you and Alec are both kind of like LinkedIn people, and you're here hanging out on YouTube. So that's super fun. Okay, so let me jump in. I saw Grilling Dude said, I actually had my first Facebook comment last Friday while live streaming my live cook Friday. It was pretty cool. So I will tell you guys, I used to get a lot more engagement on Facebook. And then I started multi-streaming because of StreamYard's multi-streaming ability. I started streaming to YouTube. I wasn't streaming to YouTube before. I really wasn't overly active on YouTube at all. And once I was able to use the multi-streaming feature of StreamYard, which was years ago at this point, I started streaming to YouTube. I was like, I'm just gonna start streaming to YouTube. There's nobody over there, really hanging out over there. And little by little, all of a sudden, more and more people started engaging with me on YouTube. And then what was really interesting was that a lot of people would almost like start watching me on Facebook, and then they'd move over to YouTube and start commenting on the YouTube channel. So I always thought that was really interesting as well. And again, here we are today, and 95% of my engagement comes from YouTube. So it's just interesting. You never know what will happen when you add another platform to your strategy. So that multi-streaming can be really, really, really powerful. Marianne says, brilliant idea to turn blog posts into podcasts. Thinking. So good. I'm glad. This is all supposed to be thought-provoking for sure. So, okay. So I'm going to switch. Oh, he meant turn video into a blog. Yeah. Either way though, really, Alec, right? I mean, either way, video or a podcast, doesn't matter. Either way, it could absolutely go both ways. So, okay. So I'm going to switch into live Q&A. So this live Q&A is open. This is 100% for anybody who wants to ask questions. I've got a camera. I've got a question about a camera. I've got a question about email marketing. So whatever you're thinking or what's on your mind right now, we are talking about. Really, I was kind of wanting to just kick things off for the year and talk about, just as we embrace 2024. Here we are in January, of course, and it's just one of those things where I always think it's a great time of year to reset. I think it's a great time. I think it's great to take time off over the holidays and give yourself a break that you absolutely probably need. Now, some people, depending on the industry they're in, they don't have that luxury simply because maybe they're in a seasonal business where the holidays are really busy for them and they need to be. Well, you need to find your downtime. You need to find your holiday season, right? So for most of us, I think the holidays is a great time to slow down, take a deep breath, step back, and really create enough space for you to embrace the year with the energy that you need. And so I don't do New Year's resolutions. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions because I am one of those believers that we should always be evolving and always be working on ourselves at all times. And if you decide to make a change in March and you want to make a new goal for yourself, that's when you should do it. So I'm not really a big New Year's resolution person. However, I 100% believe in a good, focused, intentional reset. And I do think January is a great time to do it because there's just a spirit in the air about it. Other people are talking about it. And there's just an energy about resetting or focusing or, reflecting back and looking ahead. And this is a perfect time to do it. So I do believe in that. By the way, if you want to know, I think January and then August are the 2 times to do it. And I don't know if it has anything to do with this, but I really do think that when the kids go back to school, it is almost like a different version of January. It's kind of like, okay, my routine's now different. Kids are back in school. And even if you don't have kids, there's just something about, I mean, even when you're in Target, it's back to school time. I mean, it's just, there's something about that time frame. And I think growing up, we've all been wired to, okay, summer's over. Now it's time to reset, get refocused, new timing, go to bed earlier, get up earlier, whatever, new routines because we're in school. There's something about us. I think that wiring stays with us. So January and August, in my opinion, are two really great times to reset. I like August as okay, is what I'm doing during the year working? Do I need to make a pivot to finish the year strong? And I think that's a really great time for you to kind of create that kind of mid-year check, even though it's a little further than midway through the year. But that's how I like to do it. So anyway, so if that's you and January is your time to reset, I just gave 3 down and dirty tips. So I'm going to recap them and we're going to go into Q&A. So we basically talked about tip number 1 was you need to embrace video. It's now or never. If you haven't embraced video, you got to do it. If you've been doing video and not doing a lot of video, I want you to consider doing more videos, more types of videos. So pre-recorded video, short form videos, and of course, live videos are the 3 elements of video that I want you to include in your strategy. The second tip was I want you to embrace collaborations. I want you to absolutely be creating partnerships and alliances. I want you to find your community, find your people out there. I want you to have guests in your content, and then I want you to go be a guest in other people's content. This is going to add so much more of a dynamic to your stuff and your content. And it is absolutely going to help you with organic reach. I promise you it will. And then lastly, I just covered, I want you to repurpose, because you only have so much time on your hands, my friend. And when you are creating so much content, you absolutely are creating lots of great content that can be used in lots of different ways. And so I want you to consider chopping it up into clips that you can use. I want you to convert videos to podcasts to videos, blog posts, as Alec mentioned earlier, also should be included in there. And then, of course, multi-stream and multi-record. So, use your time wisely and be very efficient. So again, if you're using StreamYard or any other platform out there that lets you do this multi-streaming, multi-recording, you should absolutely be taking advantage of it and using it. So, all right, with that being said, let's go into live Q&A time. So I'm going to answer your questions. Like I said, I've got a few of them already queued up, but if you've got a question for me, definitely go ahead and post it. Put a Q in front of that comment. That's going to help me find your question in all these wonderful comments that we have here for sure. So I've got 4, I think so far queued up. I'm going to jump into these and we are going to have some fun. So Marianne says, for us here in Australia, July is another good time to reset. It's the start of a new financial year. Yeah, so that is a great example as well. So it's kind of like another one of your reset moments too, right? Okay, so I'm going to do a quick cough because, as I told you, I'm getting over this, whatever the heck this long lingering thing is, and I'm going to do my Be Right Back screen, which all of you, if you don't have a Be Right Back screen, you need to make one so that I can do a quick little cough and clear my throat. So hold on. See, quick and easy, done. All right, so I feel better. By the way, history lesson for y'all. I first created that lava lamp Be Right Back screen probably 3 years ago when I had a cold, and I literally was like, I'm going to need to sneeze or blow my nose during this stream, so I'm going to create that. And that's the fun fact about why I made that Be Right Back screen. But you should all have one of those when you're live in case you have a technical challenge or something else too. So, all right, question time. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to answer questions. So if you guys have questions for me about anything at all, let me know. All right, Grilling Dude had the first one posted today. He said, in your opinion, would doing more than one live a week be good, bad, indifferent? I do a live cooking show and I'm thinking of adding a Taco Tuesday to weekly cooking show. So I love this question. So this question comes up a lot. I always get the question of how many videos, how often, blah, 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 blah. And it really comes down to, Grilling Dude, your personal abilities, your time, and can you create enough content, right? So I don't like it when somebody is creating a lot of content or a lot of live videos for the sake of creating it. So if there's just a ton of repeat content and they're just saying the same thing over and over and over again and they're not really enriching the value, then I always say do less, and that less is going to have a bigger impact, right? Because if you are doing a lot of stuff just for the sake of doing it, then you're not really offering a lot of value, right? You're just it's like you're watered down. And so I always say, if you have the time, the energy, and the content to create more content, then I think you should. And your audience is looking for more, then yes, you should absolutely. So I love the idea for somebody who does weekly shows like yours that's reoccurring. I do like the idea of maybe your main show. I checked your channel out a few weeks ago, by the way, but I kind of like popped in and looked at it real fast, then I popped away. I will definitely make it an effort to go look at your content more specifically. But let's say you do a weekly show and it could be about anything. I mean, grilling, I'm assuming it's about grilling, right? So, or cooking and whatnot. Maybe you have your regular show and then you have the thing, but then maybe you do like this Taco Tuesday. It's very, very, very focused on something. So there's multiple ways to do this. You could do a show that's more open, like an open-ended conversation, and then you have another show that's super specific, so that you're kind of like catering to both. I actually used to do this myself. I used to do shows that would be really specific on a specific topic, but then I always had this kind of weekly sort of like free-for-all live Q&A. I mean, literally, I didn't really ever come with anything specific to my live Q&As most of the time. They were just open-ended. And it was just kind of fun. But then I also did a very focused, very specific type of content show as well. So I think it's good to do both. I don't like the idea of two open-ended shows, but I do think it's good to have a little bit of a mixture. So change it up. So if you have a theme, if it's Taco Tuesday and that's the theme and it's always tacos or whatever, I like that. And then your other shows just could be whatever it is the recipe of the week is, right? So I think as long as they're a little different, it makes a ton of sense. I also think that, again, if you're not doing pre-recorded videos right now, which again, maybe you are, maybe you're not, then I would use your time and energy to add a pre-recorded video, a weekly pre-recorded video that comes out. So what a pre-recorded video would be, it's again, like a 5 to 10 minute video that is pre-recorded, edited. It's a little bit more enriched in regards to that edited value. Not as many ums and fluffs and mistakes and whatever. It's okay if they are in there, but very, very to the point, punchy. You're speaking about something very specific. Someone has a question, and this video is answering that question, right? You're showing them something. You're explaining something to them. And then your live show can be the conversation show. So if you're not doing that right now, I would do that first before you add another live show, okay? But if you already have pre-recorded content and you're ready to add this other live show, I say go for it. I mean, if you can do it, try it out, see what happens, but just differentiate it a little bit. Make sure it's got a little different sizzle, if you will. We'll use some cooking terms. I use sizzle all the time, but that's definitely what I would say, right? Okay, very much appreciated, and no repeat, 100%. Okay, he says, I do a live cook on Friday, one pre-recorded and one short week currently. Fantastic. So you have a great strategy. Love that. I definitely would like to see, again, I think the taco show, the Taco Tuesday, maybe the Taco Tuesday is where you get a little extra. So honestly, I will tell you, I've dabbled with this idea for my own content when I had a little bit more free time before I took back the JOB world. And it was going to be pre-recorded video, live Q&A on Fridays. But then I was also like, I'd like to also do like a cocktails and conversation show where I do a live show, I make a drink, and it's just a little more edgy. It's just different. It's edgier. I probably use some 4-letter words more than that in that show than other shows. And it's sort of just like the after hours Mel, if you will. And many of you have been with me after hours. You've seen me do it, but it's not structured. So I guess what I'm getting at is you've probably seen me do a lot of these things I'm talking about, but I've never had a structured strategy that's kind of like a committed, kind of strategy. But what I'm getting at is I think you got to kind of have the Taco Tuesday and your regular weekly cooking show, they need to be different. So something, whether it's spicier, different, maybe you're a little more real and raw, don't know, maybe you make a margarita and you make tacos and I don't know, whatever. Talk about seasoning. Maybe it's always about seasoning. I'm just saying, make it a little different, but also use it as an experiment to try some different aspects of you and what you can bring to the table, right? So I love it. Different. I like it. Good. Okay, cool. Hey, Coffee Talking Tech. Good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. I need to watch your Lewitt video that you just did. I saw it come out and I've been meaning to go back and watch it. So, okay. So I'm going to get back to more questions. That was an awesome question to kick it off. So the Dr. Vibe Show had a question. Hopefully he's still hanging out with us watching. What is your suggestion for a mid-price camera? Okay. So let's define mid-price. Mid-price in the world of cameras could actually be $300 or it could be $3,000. I mean, I hate to say it. So there's 3 types of cameras out there. All right. You've got kind of built-in type of cameras. So you've got just webcams, and it could even be the built-in camera on your phone. That's obviously not what he's referring to because he's talking about an actual camera. We have webcams, so USB webcams. So the Logitech Brio, the Elgato Face Cam, the Logi Stream Cam, or whatever it is. You've got the Elgato Face Cam Pro. You've got all kinds of cameras out there coming out onto the market that are USB. So they just plug into your computer, and it is what it is, right? Some of them come with companion software so that you can, change the white balance and other things. USB cameras have come a really long way. When it comes to a mid-level price on a webcam, like a USB webcam, mid-level, you're looking at $100 to $150, because right now there are $300 webcams on the market, and then there are still $60 webcams on the market. For me personally, I would not pay attention or even bother with anything less than $100, because it's not going to be worth the money. You might as well use that money to go buy a cool USB microphone or something. So to me, I would rather you hook up your iPhone and use it as your webcam instead. When it comes to webcams, I think personally, if you're going to buy a webcam today or here in the next few months, I would be patient, because I just feel like the webcam industry is evolving and has been evolving. And I feel like you're going to see some new webcams hit the market. And so I would hate for you to buy what's out there now only to it be superseded by something else. There's a cam out there made by Opal, whatever, I forget what it's called. And it's for Macs only. And it's a really good camera, but it's only for Macs. And they're using AI to create, it looks like a DSLR camera. And so, there's a lot out there that are coming. There's cameras coming. I just feel it. And so I would say if you're looking for a webcam, I'd be patient and see what comes on the market. With that being said, the next type of camera is a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, which is, a camera that you might use to create videos or to actually do photography with. So when it comes to those types of cameras, you're looking at truly $400 or $500 minimum, all the way up to $2,000-$3,000. But when it comes to using it for live streams or hooking it up to your computer, I would not recommend you buy one of those, $1,500 to $2,500, $3,000 cameras. Now, if you're a videographer and you're using that camera for that, and you want to also use it for this, then sure. But if you're just using it for plugging into your computer, creating live streams, your mid-price range is about $600 to $700. And now that's just for the camera. I personally recommend the Sony ZV-E10. I still think it's a wonderful camera. It's very easy to use. It's a great vlogging camera as well as a live streaming camera. That's what you're looking at right now. Now, I will say I also have a lens hooked up to it that gives you this blurry background because it creates that short depth of field. So when it comes to your budget, you can also look at some used equipment as well, right? So you can find all kinds of stuff out there when it comes to these cameras and what you want to do. So I don't know. There's so much out there, and there's so much that's changing that I personally, in my opinion, really like. This is a great. I saw this and I was literally like, you just took the words out of my mouth. So John says, yep, you first need a budget and then ask how techie you are to decide if you go mirrorless or USB. So this is a really great point, because the higher end you go or the fancier you go does come with, you need to know some tech stuff. So for example, this camera, you're not getting it out of the box, buying the cable for it, plugging it into your computer, and it's ready to go. You need to understand the settings on this camera. You need to understand the shutter speed types of things, because they do matter. You need to be able to go in there and make sure you've got it on the right settings so that you don't have funky things going on. You are going to need to buy a cable, a special cable. You're going to also want to buy a dummy battery. These are all going to add to your cost. But again, if you just want super, super, super simple, then a USB webcam may be the way to go. I would look at a budget of around $300 to make that webcam worth it. So again, you can buy a $100 webcam or even a $75 webcam. It's not going to be great. But if you can raise that budget up a little bit, then you want to consider that other camera as well. So for sure. Great point from John over there. By the way, if you're not following John, I think you all should go follow John, because He's super, super techie, very, very technical, great with audio, always exploring new things and giving his opinions about it. I absolutely love John's channel. So go check out Coffee Talk and Tech for sure. He's also on Instagram too. So check him out over there. All right. Creator Classroom says, I use a Sony EV10 for my webcam. Yeah. And it's honestly, you can also, the Sony ZV-E10 is also compatible just as a USB. So most of these newer cameras coming out are now compatible as just USB because again, they've listened to the marketplace. They've understood that people want to use these cameras and be able to plug it into their computers. So it is going to diminish the quality just a bit, but 99% of your viewers will not notice. Okay, let's get into the rest of my questions here because I do have more questions. Oh, I jumped in. I accidentally I clicked on the wrong one. Joanne, I'm going to get to that question, but I'm going to answer these in order. So sorry, I maybe got you a little excited. All right, the next question that we had came from Creator Classroom. Do I remember you say something about having someone coming to talk email marketing? That is correct. So on the StreamYard channel, on my Marketing Minutes, Master Your Marketing with Mel show, which airs about every other Friday, I am going to be having Amy Porterfield on the channel. So she's going to be coming on sometime here in the next couple of months to talk about email marketing. I'm also going to have Kenya Kelly come on the show as well. And we're going to narrow in a topic, but she's probably going to be talking about Instagram and TikTok. So that show is about live streaming, but it's about marketing in general. So over on the StreamYard channel, I go live over there for them about every other week or so. And yes, I will be having Amy Porterfield on the show coming to talk about email marketing. She's going to basically do like an awesome little masterclass for everybody. And then I'm going to also have Kenya Kelly on the show here pretty soon too. So super excited about both of those shows coming up over on the StreamYard channel. Okay, Dr. Vibe Show has another great question for us. So what are the two biggest strategic decisions you need to make in the next 6 to 9 months? Oh my gosh, Dr. Vibe Show bringing the heat today with the questions. If you're asking in general, like what I think people need to make their decisions on, the two biggest strategic decisions, I think one is how are you either going to start making money or how are you going to start making more money with your efforts? I'll put it that way. Right? So I know a lot of people, a lot of you are creating content and you love it and you're doing it and it feels a little hobbyish to you, but I absolutely want you to embrace the fact that you absolutely can be making money, whether it be creating an online course, whether it be creating an online membership so that some of your content is paid for, or monetizing your efforts. And that can come in multiple formats. One example would be simply getting monetized on the platform so that you're getting paid for the views that you're getting. Now you have to reach some milestones to get there. And if that's a goal, then you need to make that a goal and you need to make sure that your efforts are lining up to reach that goal. But the other version of monetization could come in the form of sponsorships. So, for example, I'm an affiliate for StreamYard. So I'm creating this content, but I'm also, my partner link is in the description of this stream that you're watching. And if you are wanting to sign up for a 14-day free trial, you can sign up through that link. And then if you decide to then upgrade to a paid subscription later, I'm actually going to make a little bit of money from that. I'm an affiliate. That is a partner link that I get to share with you. That is a way of also creating income from your efforts. So if you're always talking about stuff, so the grilling dude, let's use you as an example. If you're always talking about a specific product, well, what if you reached out to that company and asked if they would send you stuff, even if you had to return it? Okay. So Sony actually, or Rode actually does this. I just learned this. They will sometimes send people stuff and say, we'll let you use it for 2 months, create some videos, and then send it back to us. I'm like, what? They actually make people return it sometimes? Sometimes people, usually, they just give it to you. So reach out to some of those companies and see if they'd be willing to send you some of their products for you to do an unboxing, to do some sampling, to start using it, and then you're going to be promoting it. I'm actually starting to watch cooking content a lot now, and a lot of these people are doing this. They are, promoting these thermometers and these grilling tools and these pellet grills and other things. That's another way to do a sponsorship. So there are ways. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I think one of the decisions that everybody needs to sit down and make is how are you going to start making money or how are you going to start making more money with these efforts that you're making? I personally think that's one of the key decisions everyone should be making so that you can then start lining up the actions and what you're doing to go in and serve that goal. That's huge. You said two strategic decisions. I think another strategic decision is how much time are you willing to put forth into what you're doing? like this, whether it's a side hustle or whether it's your main thing that you're doing, how much time are you absolutely willing to put in? And can you maybe put in a little bit more? And I think that then the next decision is creating those blocks of time or planning appropriately so that you can fulfill that commitment. Because I do think that one of the biggest challenges that creators, entrepreneurs make is simply time and managing their time, whether it be not being disciplined with their time or whether it literally be finding time and being able to make it work. And creating, batching your content and all those things, those are huge. So I think you've got to decide how are you going to make money, and then you've got to decide how are you going to utilize your time. I think those are two huge key decisions that I would ask everyone to make for sure. Okay, I'm going to burn through another question, then I'm going to come back and look at my live comments. So Joanne said, what exactly is the B back screen and how did you execute it so fast? Is it a screen share or a file upload? Okay, so she's referring to, I'll show it to you if you guys didn't see it, this right here. There you go. That's that version. Here's another version that doesn't have any audio. And as you notice, it didn't mute me. So I'm still talking and you can still hear me. So there are two versions of Be Right Back screens that I like to do. I personally use a video clip. And the reason I use a video clip is because it does have sound and I can make it have sound and I can just upload it and it's interesting and it's fine. This is in StreamYard. So I've uploaded it's a 30-second clip. Now, StreamYard does let you loop your video clips too. So if you are not sure how much time you need to be right back, I would highly suggest you click on loop and then play your Be Right Back video and it will loop it. So it can give you as much time as you need. And all I did was I clicked it and it went on and when you play a video, it goes over everything. And if there's audio, it will overlay the audio, which means your microphone will automatically be muted. So if you need to be muted, which most people do when they're in a Be Right Back mode, this is what you want to do. This is great for, like I said, if you need to take a break from screen for multiple reasons, or if you need to do a restart. So one thing that's cool about StreamYard is if your browser closes or your power goes out, or even if you lose your internet connection for a minute, your stream does not end. So you have to still go in and end it. So that's kind of scary sometimes, but it's actually beneficial. So there have been multiple times where I've been having so many tech issues that I actually had to click on Be Right Back, restart my computer, come back to StreamYard, and there it is. And then I'm back. And I when I enter the studio, Be Right Back is still playing. So nobody dealt with any like black screen interruption or anything. So the Be Right Back screen is very convenient. It should always be in a part of your assets and uploaded into your studio. But the way I did it so fast is it was just a video clip that I clicked on and played. You could also do an overlay. If you are on a paid subscription, you can do an overlay and just click on that overlay and it's going to overlay everything. Just keep in mind that your microphone will not be muted. So you either need to mute your microphone or remove yourself from the stream, the studio, the live screen. So there you go. Yeah. Okay. So checking in on the comments, full show, some feedback. What is it? Oh, the show name that I was talking about is Master Your Marketing with Mel. It's on the StreamYard channel though. So you want to follow the StreamYard channel and that's where you'll see that show. It's just every other Friday. I'll be actually this Friday. I believe I'll be live this Friday as well on that show. So sometimes I just do live Q&As. Other times I come very focused with a very specific topic. And then we're going to be having more guests on the show this year for sure. So it's going to be super fun. Okay, so I love it. John says, my goal is to keep making it fun and enjoy the journey because it feels like work. If it feels like work, you will have a hard time keeping the grind going. He is absolutely correct. I 100% love that tip. I tell people all the time, you have to, this is why it's very, very, very important that what you're doing and the efforts you're putting forth are aligned with who you really are and aligned with things that you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about it and it doesn't align with your true self, you will not keep it up. Because it will be too hard. It'll be like going against the grain and you will hate it and then you'll stop. So that's actually how I truly got into live streaming the way that I am now, is because I was in this huge funk, 2019 maybe. And I just kind of got to this I was like, man, it's just got to be fun again. It's not fun right now. And I was like, I just want to play around with technology. And so I started playing around I found StreamYard and I started playing with it. I was like, this is super awesome. I love this tool and I can be really creative with it. And so I just started creating live videos. And next thing you know, I became a live video coach and a mentor, and it just evolved. But it's because it's fun. I think it's super fun. I absolutely love it. And that's why I'm able to keep doing it. And then of course, you might have little ebbs and flows in what goes on in your life and everything else, but I keep coming back to this because I love it. I truly do love it. So he's absolutely right. And he makes a really great point that I want all of you to pay attention to. Okay, so I'm going back to questions. Okay, Alec had a question. He said, quick and dirty wouldn't be 2024 without using AI for content creation ideation. He is totally correct. It's so funny, Alec. I thought about adding that tip today, but then I thought I didn't want to open a can of worms that I didn't want to follow through with today. You know what I mean? And he's absolutely right. So I do believe that you should be embracing AI. And I say this, and I'm going to keep saying it. AI is not a replacement. AI is merely a enhancement or an assistant. Think of it that way. So I like to use ChatGPT for when I'm going through the process. I have an idea about a video that I need to do. I will go into ChatGPT and I will actually start putting stuff in ChatGPT, and it will start to give me bullets and ideas. And then those help me kind of like hone in my ideation process. And he's right. It absolutely has sped up my process. I absolutely love it. So I do think that you've got to embrace AI as well. I think it should be a part of your 2024 strategy when it comes to what you're doing. Okay, I got a few more questions here, and I'm going to have to wrap it up because, the JOB, right? I also have to go pick up my car from the oil change. Okay, so here's another thing I've got. Joanne says, how do you share your phone or tablet screen on a StreamYard live show? Okay, that's a really technical question, but there are a number of ways that you can do it, Joanne. Joanne, you can either use a companion app that basically you download on your phone and you install on your computer, and it will allow, like Reflector is one that's out there. I don't even know what number they're on now. But Reflector is an app that you can download on your phone and on your computer, and it will basically, you using the screen share, the mirroring, right? Use the mirroring, and it will pull a visual of your phone up. So whatever's on your phone is going to show up on your screen, and then you would share that application or share that screen to your stream, and then that would bring it up. So if you want to do a tutorial or a demo from your tablet or your phone, that would be one way you can do it. You also can hardwire your phone into your device sometimes, but usually when you do that, it's going to show other stuff on your screen that you wouldn't necessarily want to show on the screen. So there's a number of ways to do it. That's a super quick Google search, Joanne. I guarantee there's 1,000 videos out there. I had one on my channel that's about the Reflector app. It's probably irrelevant at this point, merely because Reflector has come out with new versions of their software since then. So, but that kind of gives you the down and dirty about how to do it. So Creative Lady is here. She says, when should channels stop accepting free products and charge brands? Ooh, that's a great question. So I think that when it comes to free products versus charging a company, like, okay, I'll showcase your product, but I'm going to charge you, that's a $500 fee for me to take the time to make this video and showcase your brand. I think that it kind of boils down to what can you commit to that company? I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with what you're describing, but I do know that brands are not going to pay a channel unless they can show results. Like, I've gotten results for these companies in the past. I have this many followers. I can show you that this many clicks and this many links. So you're going to, in order to charge, you're going to need to validate why they should be paying you, right? Now, there's another version of this, which is you can become a content creator for them, creating content for them. So let's say, for example, I'll just tell you, like, I have 2 YouTube videos on Canva's YouTube channel that I did for them, and they paid me to do those. I did a guest teaching inside the Social Media Examiner Society membership. They paid me to do that. So some brands and channels just do that. They sometimes will have you create a video for them, and it'll be a sample video. And if they like it and they ask you to do another one, then they start paying you. But that's because that's an asset that's going on their channel. It's in their business. And so if somebody's asking you to create something for their channel, they may ask you to do it free at first or for a low dollar at first because they kind of want to test you out. But then if you are a regular contributor, they are likely going to be paying you and should be paying you. So if you're getting approached by a brand to create content for their platform, you should be charging for that. Now, if you're saying, send me your products, I'll create videos, and by the way, here's my fee to do it, they're going to need to know that they're going to get something from that. There's got to be an ROI on that investment. So if you can validate and prove the ROI through experience with other brands or other things, then you should consider, doing that. But, I think that it's probably less common to be paid unless you're a huge influencer. I mean, I'm just being super honest, and I don't even know how many followers you have, Creative Lady. I know you're in Memphis, right? Because I think you said that last time, but I think it all comes, if you have, the Kim Kardashians and those people, yeah, they're being paid to showcase those products, but they are huge brands with a huge following. So that is like advertising to them, right? To these companies. So if you have a huge following, you're probably in a better position to charge for something like that. So that's what I would say about that. Okay, so Joanne had a follow-up question to my video that I played for the Be Right Back. As of right now, there is not a hotkey that you can program to your Stream Deck to play a specific video. And oh my goodness, do I wish there was. But there's not right now. I don't know if that's in the works. That's a pretty big added layer to the hotkey configuration, just because of the way that the StreamYard platform is designed. However, if you wanted to do something that made it that simple, and you're already using Stream Deck and you were already using something like OBS, then I would recommend you configure in OBS and make the hotkey work that way. Now, you could do a multi-function Stream Deck key, and that multi-function key would mute your mic and play that video in OBS, change it to that scene in OBS, right? And that would be the multi-function I would do, because you want your mic to be muted. That would be the thing that I would do if you're just wanting to be able to push a button. So, okay, I've got one more question that I wanted to get to, and is the Creator Classroom. She says, did you get in a second funk in 2022, 2023? No, I don't think I ever got into a second funk. I think it was more, so I think what happened for me is it wasn't even, I don't even know if I would call it a full funk. It was just my world flipped upside down because I went back into the corporate world. I took a full-time job, which is why I can't stream for too long today. I took a full-time role, and it was very consuming. It's a great role. It's a great job. It's a wonderful company. It's fantastic. And I really like what I'm doing, and I'm actually really enjoying it, but it requires quite a bit of travel. So for example, I'm getting on an 8:00 flight tomorrow morning. So my schedule got it really changed. So I wasn't in as much control of my schedule as I was when I was full-time, freelancer / self-employed entrepreneur. So it very much changed my world. And I had a really hard time adjusting to that and figuring out what is the new version of my content and my, online presence look like. And it took me a long time. And then it was one of those things where the longer you get out of it, the harder it is to get back in it. And that's and next thing you know, it was like, holy crap. So, a lot of things changed. My podcast, hasn't had anything published it for a while. And I just have been in reevaluation mode for a long time. But I actually think that I finally kind of figured out a little bit of a groove with it all. So, and staying away from content and not being able to have the time to commit to creating content like I used to, I think that maybe put me in a little bit of a funk because I'm such a creative person. I need to be creative and I want to be creative. And so I did struggle with that. That was really the funk that kind of got brought to the table. But, I've just embraced this whole, it's got to just make it fun. Like to John's point earlier, just have fun. And it's not fun not creating content. So I've just been sort of coming in and creating stuff and making things with a little less of a perfect strategy or structure or whatever. And that's just the season I'm in right now. And sometimes, and guess what? I'll tell you all, if you have to go through a season like that, you might have to go through a season like that. But it's okay. And but with that, with saying it's okay and if you got to do what you got to do, you have to also understand there will be things that will not go as well. So if you need a break or if you need to take a season to yourself and not create as much content, it is highly likely that your engagement's going to go down. Getting followers back re-engaged is going to be hard. They may forget about you. I hate to say that. I mean, if they're not seeing you, they will forget about you. It can happen. So you are going to slow other things down. You're going to slow your results down with that. So when I say it's okay, and if you have to do it, then you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. Just also understand there's likely going to be some other results that you may not like. Now, maybe those results are absolutely the sacrifice that needs to be made for you to get the energy you need to get back. That may happen. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you realistic expectations. And then firing that engine back up is pretty difficult. It's difficult to get going again. And that's really what kind of happened. But I'm pretty excited about where I'm at right now and what I'm doing and the way that I'm sort of embracing kind of this different version, right? And I'm excited to get back to a slimmer version of what I was doing before, but still doing it. So I'm going to get an online course back up again. I'm excited to do that this year. And I may do a group coaching program. That's a little bit one that I'm not ready to commit to just yet because of the time commitment. And I'm just not 100% sure that I'll be able to fully fulfill that without stressing myself out with all the other obligations that I have going on. So that's kind of what's going on there. So okay, everybody, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks so much for being with me live today. If you caught the replay and you've made it this far, you deserve a massive award. So thank you. But those of you that were here with me live, I super duper appreciate you because, it definitely is fun to see you, to talk to you, to be able to go back and forth with you. My new followers, my new subscribers that are kind of now starting to hang out. Grilling Dude, shout out to you. You're one of those. Dr. Vibe Show, definitely one of those. Lawrence Wilson, you're one of those as well. I definitely appreciate you guys being here. And some of my OGs like Alec Darling. Good to see you come back, my friend, hanging out with us again. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll be live again soon. Again, like I said, if you aren't already hanging out over on the StreamYard channel, definitely go over there and subscribe to that channel because I am live over there about every other Friday. Going to be having some awesome shows coming up for you this year with some collaborations and some guests. And then, like I said, this is absolutely powered by StreamYard today. I'm using the StreamYard platform to bring this live show to you. So if you want to try it out, go to the link in the description or just go to meldiane.com and click on any of those links and you can sign up for your 14-day free trial. And then you can go back to the free version if you want. So that's what I got for you today, my friends. Again, appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here. I will see you pretty soon. All right? Pretty soon. All right, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.